Spiral Knights podcast, hosted by Lord Hood, Lazarus Clay, and Zagreus.
This is episode 65, recorded on February 2nd, 2014. This is Zang.
So laggy, Zang. This is Lazarus Clay. Welcome to the Arsenal. Can that be a thing? Can I just make fun of your lag this whole episode?
You want me to? You know, I'm just gonna pause.
It's not a big deal. It really isn't.
Yeah,
but anyways,
you know what? That's all right.
Welcome to the Arsenal podcast, where we talk about Spiral Knights. And, you know, it's not the longest of episodes this week, because nothing's happened, and we have no more pending discussions. That said, if you want to contact us and let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about until the next bit of news comes out, be sure to do that. That would be fun. We do have a lockbox.
I blame it on the fact. Yeah, I blame it on the fact that people are still reeling from the horse heads. They're probably not used to the fact that they finally get to keep them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, horse heads.
Oh my god,
prismatic horse heads.
And horse tails. And horse armors. Oh my god.
Plume for my butt.
Alright, so...
Horse tail.
Alright, so in the lockbox today, we have something called an all-purpose spice mix. Which means that we're just going to be throwing a little bit of everything at you. Because
pretty much
that's what we do regularly. But we do it in bigger doses.
Yeah. A little bit more of this, a little bit less of this. This is...
Yeah.
Here's the goal. Alright, the goal for this episode is we spend 10 minutes in every segment.
Alright, I'm gonna keep an eye on the, 10 minutes in every segment, oh my gosh. Oh,
with the exception of Mission Report. Alright.
Because Mission Report probably will only take a minute.
Yeah,
if not,
pretty much.
Maybe
Let's see what happens.
Alright,
so we can...
Alright, so...
We can cut up our Spiral Knights talk a little bit. So let's actually get into Mission Report, shall we?
Zang, how's your week?
So, Letterson, how was your week?
Hood, how was your week? Mission Report goes something like this.
Well, while we're in Mission Report and we have no time limit, I guess I'll mention a few things. One, Skygarter wants us to talk about Blast Network. Do you play Blast Network? Because I don't.
Blast Network. Oh, I'd only played it a few times. Honestly, I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the fact that when you played Blast Network, I think every time you died, you lost all of your power-ups. So It was essentially leaving you at an immense disadvantage to your enemies who are still running around with their power-ups.
Yep.
HRPB wants to know if we can play Blast Network on Twitch.
Possibly. That might be fun at some point.
I think it might be a good idea. I think it might be cool. But I just didn't really like how Blast Network worked. It didn't feel like it was really a test of skill. It felt like a test of who can find the most power-ups in their line and who can run around and just set bombs up.
Well, one thing I found interesting about the game is after I've played a few games, I can go into a level and I dodge bullets better. Which is just interesting, because there is this whole thing of... It's like you're playing anti-Pac-Man almost, where you're trying to get out of line of sight of these lanes for people, where they're trying to blast you with their powered-up bombs. And so that kind of dodging mechanic is... Exactly. Just blowing yourself up.
Not to mention trying to set down your own explosives. That's very embarrassing to do. I think I've done that once in Blast Network, and I hated it. Because that means that I set myself back without even being able to do anything. But, that's Blast Network. And I just don't really like...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're running over each other. I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
I was going to change directions a little bit.
This is going to be the highlight of the show. Well, that's fine. Go ahead, because obviously got... Am I really breaking up that much?
No, I'm just doing the fake talking over each other.
That's not even...
Well, I was just going to say that the last thing for Blast Network on the other hand is that since it's so abandoned now, a lot of what you find, the only people that are still playing are people that are good at it, and they want their Krogmo coins and stuff, so if they can find a game, they'll hop in and win by a significant margin, and that'll be it. So you don't find people that don't know what they're doing in Blast Network very often, but that's a thing. Anyway, so this is Mission Report, and this is where we're talking about our experiences since the last podcast, and our gaming experiences, that is, and I'll be quiet so that we don't keep running over each other like this. And how was your week, Say?
Oh, my week. It wasn't really that big in Spiral Knights, to be honest. I think I might have popped on once just to check on my inventory and play through a few. Oh no, wait, I did. I went into Firestorm Citadel a few times to gather up some crowns because I wanted to have some extra cash in my pocket, because nothing says extra cash like having 100,000 crowns, because 100,000 crowns, that's always what I like to have on me, and I don't have that on me right now, so I need to fix that. I'm just essentially trying to keep with the people, just kind of watching what's going on from within the game. And what I've seen essentially is that those warden things, all the warden armors and stuff, they are going for a very low price when you think about it, because usually stuff like that actually goes for a much more high price.
What's it selling for right now?
Last time I checked, usually they're selling for around like 70 or 80,000.
Oh wow!
Because usually when you think about it, the costumes, like the chef battle coats, they're going for over 100,000 or 200,000. They're expensive, but these people are buying them. People are buying them for and selling them for low prices, which is good, because that makes it easier for people to get them. But essentially, it feels like you've wasted money now, because it takes a lot more crystal energy than they're selling for.
Yeah, chat. When you get a horse box, when you open it, whatever the boxes are called, I can't even remember. But anyways, when you get them, yeah, because we're good at this.
Warden boxes. Yeah,
Warden.
We're intelligent. We know this.
Yeah, we're good Spiral Knights citizens. We know a lot about this game.
We're
the colossal boxes. Thank you.
Educated. Oh, colossal. That's right.
When you open them, do you get just one item or two? Because that would rectify. If it's two, that would rectify why they're cheaper. It's because you can sell two of them instead of just one.
I think that might be.
That's
well. I remember when you got like the ones from. Yeah, sometimes two, I guess. I think it might be random. It seems like a lot of people are probably getting lucky then with getting the two items, because then they get one that they want and one that they don't, and then they sell the one that they don't for a cheap price because they want to get some money back. Which is sad, because when you take into account how much energy truly is in comparison to what they sell it for, they're not even probably making 50% of the price. Energy's probably still in the 7,000, I think. And considering each of the colossal boxes is probably around... Can you buy them in the supply depot?
No. It's energy purchases.
No. Yeah, energy purchases. You have to spend real money to be able to purchase them. And considering usually the box is about 3.5k when they usually do the box thing, take into that into consideration, you're not really getting a lot out of it if you're selling it for under 50,000 crowns.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what caused that, because there are a few things in the economy that could have caused that. If enough people started selling them at the low price, then it'll stick to that low price. If one person tries to sell it for a low price, then someone will snatch it up and everything will keep going for 100,000, say. But if enough people set it at a low price, that will create the precedent. So if enough people started selling for, say, 70,000 crowns, that would explain why. Otherwise, it may be because they want the other things in the colossal boxes, and the horse items, the equestrian items, are not actually the reason for getting the boxes. So it's just get these away from me and I'll take whatever crowns I can get. That could be it. If people are getting two items in a box, rarely that could be it.
What else do you get? You get, like... I think with the item, you have the possibility of getting boosters and you get rockets. And rockets aren't really for anything other than celebrating. They're essentially like confetti and snowballs.
That's true.
So I find it very odd that what are we? Oh crap! We're at the 10-minute mark. They're getting off of mine then, because that's essentially all I did. I just kind of watched the auction house for a little bit. What did you do for the week?
I've been up in Atlanta doing crazy things. Like, this part of the world doesn't know how to deal with snow at all. And it's like 1 inch of snow. Oh my gosh, shut down all the schools. We're all going to die. And a 1 hour trip through the city. Oh, yeah?
Well, we didn't even get that much snow. It wasn't even the snow. It was how cold it was. You could go out there fully garbed and everything, and you could still feel a chill run up your spine. It's like Mother Nature. What's wrong? What have we done?
There was a 1 hour drive to get home. A drive that usually takes an hour took us 9, because it's this little bit of ice on the road, and people don't know how to drive on ice, and sliding off the road and all this disgusting stuff. So that was annoying. And the other thing I did was I went and figured out Twitch streaming for Spiral Knights. So that's totally a thing that we're doing. So you can go over to twitch.tv/ladison_sklay. And the reason why it's that and not the Arsenal podcast is because it's me doing the streaming. It won't be any of the other Arsenal podcast hosts who would also independently be doing it. So I created it for just myself because it will be me and other people. But that's the only reason why. It's not a self-inflated thing or anything like that. It's just, it's easier that way. So twitch.tv/ladison_sklay. And yeah, just doing Spiral Knights streams and stuff like that. We had our first one on Friday. Did this run, a certain quote-unquote challenge that needs to be refined because it's not really super interesting to watch, but we'll do that. And so we've got some things to do on there. You can check it out. If you follow us, the only place where I will be letting you know that the stream is happening, you can actually follow the channel on Twitch, or you can follow our Twitter. Because putting it up on like 6 sites for the Arsenal podcast when it's a stream with me personally is not something we're super into. So that's what that is. But that should be fun. People are saying, oh no, we missed it. It's not a one-time thing. The streams will continue. It will most likely be towards the weekend time. Yes. But that's it. That's the only other major thing is Spiral Knights streaming. And the fact that no one does it. So it's a way to test the market and see, do people actually want to watch Spiral Knights on stream? And that would be interesting to see.
Perhaps.
So,
just asking this, because I didn't find it, or I probably did find it, I forgot. I don't think I watched it. The Spiral Knights Impractical episode that I participated in, I don't know what the name of it is, so I wanted to find it. Yeah, and I was wondering, and I don't. You did put that on YouTube, right?
I did put it. Yeah, it's Kill Us With Fire.
Vlog. Yeah, okay.
Kill Us With Fire and Pea Shooters.
I just wanted to. Yeah, okay.
Look it up real quick.
Yeah. I just need to figure that. I didn't know if you posted or not, because I was going to offer that we do that for, like, the live stream.
That would be fun.
But I don't think it's necessary, because that's already in Spiral Knights Impractical.
It is. This maybe can't do it again. It is episode 15 of Spiral Knights Impractical, posted about 2 months ago. It's Kill Us With Fire and Pea Shooters is what it's called. So you guys can check that out if you want. That's youtube.com/sklayelite2.
Yes.
Zhang, I have a theory, and I'm just going to say this for our listening audience, too, that what happens with Skype, because Skype is not cool, is that when lag starts to happen, it also increases latency. So when you're speaking, I actually hear it later than when you actually said it, and that may have something to do with the fact that we can't seem to not talk over each other this episode. Maybe, possibly.
Perhaps.
But that's just a thought. There's nothing that can be done.
Audience, I apologize. Audience, again, I'd like to apologize. I am currently trying to download Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning on my laptop. I'm hoping that it works, because otherwise I just wasted $5.99. I'm sure it'll be okay, but I apologize if I am laggy or glitchy or whatever I sound like, because that's what's going on right now.
That said, mission report. All right, moving on.
Overheard.
at Warcraft Man.
From the helmet of someone who likes some creature that requires a horn to fight with or something like that.
The helmet is supposed to be resembling to a demon called.
Alright, so the first thing here, this is our news and discussion. There is no news, but I would like to make a correction before we continue, because someone corrected me through YouTube and said, hey, last week you said on the episode when you were talking about Spiral Knights trading cards that everyone gets 6 for free. And they would if they spent $10 on the game, but I didn't realize that I have spent $10 on the game, getting Operation Crimson Hammer. And so I unlocked my card drops. If you haven't spent any money on the game of Spiral Knights on you play on Steam, you still will not get card drops until you spend a $10 margin. So just wanted to correct that. It's not completely free. So I said it was, so my bad. Just wanted to clarify that.
You purchased Operation Crimson Hammer for $10?
It was Operation Crimson and the Guardian Armor Pack are the two things I've purchased through Steam to hit that $10 mark.
Oh, okay, because I remember buying Operation Crimson Hammer. Yeah. I remember buying it for $5, so I was kind of worried. It's like, did they bump up the price? Did I miss something?
No. And the Guardian Armor Pack is rather expensive, so we have a peek at ancient behind-the-scenes news. This is something that Spiral Knights posted. It's not really news. I just said it's news because I'm a derp. It's just behind the scenes. It's concept art for Knights drawn by Polygon Sharp, who's the lead artist for Spiral Knights. Spiral Knights does this every now and then, just posting old concept art and stuff. And in the case that you don't follow Spiral Knights on the social medias, we just want to show this off. And it's just the link. It's something worth looking at. It's kind of cool. It's like, I like this. And you can see how some of the art styles and armors and concept that he does have been transferred into the game now, and how it's evolved, and it's just really neat how that turned out, so be sure to check that picture out. Links to this and everything else that we talk about in this show will be in the show notes for this episode, which is on our website, squaley.com/arsenal. Crackhob, who is a listener of this show, friend of mine, friend of ours, and pretty much an awesome guy. He is publishing some of his... Yeah, absolutely. Publishing some of his findings on auto-aim that he's been doing. He's been doing some research and study on this, and he's been posting how it affects gameplay on his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jacobs with a K, JAKOBS 98, and he's got some videos up there just demonstrating tests, and he's shown, does it lock onto invisible recons? Does it increase your sword range? A lot of these questions that people send out, put out about auto-aim, he's making an attempt to answer. He also has a thread on the forums for a lot of this stuff, though unfortunately I don't have a link to that one. Maybe I'll go find it. Let me put here link. Maybe I'll go find that one too, and you guys can check that out. It's some really interesting stuff. When he finishes, we'll probably go a little bit more in-depth to it when he completes some of the stuff he wants to do and says, hey, here you go. And we'll just restate everything that he's had, so you guys can find out about auto-aim, because that's a fun little discussion topic at times. Zhang, do you use auto-aim by default?
Yes, actually I do. And a lot of the time I see arguments about auto-aim and that it makes the game easier and that it makes it a lot more simple. I have to argue that auto-aim is probably just as difficult to use as going without it, because I'm going to give an example, because this is probably a good example to use. When you're fighting against a group of enemies and you want to focus on a single particular enemy, auto-aim likes to tell you, no, you have to shoot this enemy or strike this enemy. So it's easier to go shift or just deactivate auto-aim as a whole. I think did we hit the 10-minute mark yet? I don't care. But auto-aim and going without auto-aim, they each have their difficulties. So when people say auto-aim is easier, try looking into the interworkings of auto-aim first before making that judgment.
Right, there are arguments for and against it, and some of what Crackhob has shows some of that stuff where, oh, that's a good reason to use it, and this is a reason not to use it. There's things like how it ruins brandish charges. Auto-aiming will keep brandish charges from doing the blast things if you try to auto-aim into a crowd of enemies is just something that happens with the game. Stuff like that, so...
It just bothers me when people talk about how auto-aim is apparently the easy way of playing. I know people who use auto-aim. I mean, crying out loud, Durak uses auto-aim. Right, I think he does. I'm not sure. Possibly. The point is, auto-aim is an extra feature. It's included to help make striking enemies quote-unquote easier, but it also forces you into having to essentially focus single targets. So it has negatives. It has positives. How you want to take advantage of it is your own choice. So honestly, I'd like to see the auto-aim arguments drop. What time are we at?
Close. We're at close.
Okay.
So just real quick, there's no right or wrong answer for auto-aim.
No.
I think is the last conclusion. All right, go on.
Like to whine about it, yes.
Yeah. So the last thing is that NJ Thug and Digicom are holding another art contest, and this is lasting until the 4th of April, and there's over 269,000 energy to be distributed, and 20 categories to enter. So if you are an art person, maybe check that one out. I think for the normal categories, it's something like 5,069 energy if you come in first place, which is a good amount of energy. So if you want to create things for that contest, that would be fun. It's the Crazy Spiral Knights Anniversary Art Contest. I think this is the second annual, and it lasts until the 4th of April, so check that out. Again, links are in the show notes as always. Yeah. How's that? We close to 10 minutes? It's going to be less than
I think
because...
I think we probably should cut it short a little bit.
Transmutations.
This is where we talk about what we want to see added to the game of Spiral Knights. And there is a Blither Paladin suggested something to me, and I turned it into a discussion because it was something we've kind of talked about already. But this will not go on for too long, because theorizing about things that will never be added to the game, it's not the most worthwhile thing. But we just wanted to... This is a Creative Juices time, so why not? Blither Paladin actually suggested a fire once and reload type of gun, or a crossbow, where it's a single shot, then reload, single shot, reload. And, you know, we talked about snipers, crossbows, things like that before, but it would be some powerful ammo, and you could do different things with the ammo and explode, freeze. It would spread to enemies like quills, stuff like that. So,
okay.
And so what that turned into is add a game mechanic, a single game mechanic, something that changes the way the game works slightly at a fundamental level, and this is add, not remove. So it's not like we can remove forging, but just quickly, what's something we could add?
All right. I think I'm going to go in the same direction that Blither Paladin did, and I'm going to think of including a weapon. I was on Tumblr earlier, and I passed a picture, I think, posted by... I know the person, I just don't remember the name. They posted a picture of a few books, like books for like a game that they're making, and it got me thinking, what if, like in TF2 where you get that spell magazine, what if there was something of a similar fashion in Spiral Knights? Like for your weapon, and instead of like carrying a shield and a sword, you carry like a spell book. They kind of implemented this in, what's it called? Final Fantasy Crystal, the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the DS version of it. They had a book weapon. What you could do, you could alter the effect of the spells cast from your base, from your attacks, like whenever you're hitting the button or hitting the mouse button, whatever. Hotkeys, yes, thank you, HRPB. You could set hotkeys to be able to alter what your spells are, and make it so you can throw out fire, create a shield, create a wave of spikes, or something like that. You could make it so the stronger ones are charge restricted, but the weaker ones can be basic and weak, but also have a charge to make them stronger.
So I'm hearing Spiral Knight's Magicka crossover.
Essentially, something like that. And the downside is the fact that you can't immediately protect yourself with a shield. You have to use the spell that activates a shield, and that would be a charged one, and it gives you a barrier that protects you for a specific period of time or until it absorbs a particular amount of damage.
Well, that would be an interesting fundamental change. And that said, I'd be interested to see if someone could come up with some logical way to convey an art or video of Magicka Spiral Knight's crossover, now that you've started on that.
But when you think about it, Magicka just kind of works in a much more different light in comparison to Spiral Knights. I'm just thinking that including some more magical elements in the game would be a bit more nice, considering the fact that they make all these pokes and prods at there being magic in the game, but we never actually really see it.
That's true. Seems much more mechanical of a game.
Yeah. I mean, the only time we really see much magic in the game is with, like, the Owlite shields, maybe the Acheron, because it seems to be possessed by evil, and, like, all the things that are related to the Owlites and the cats, and that's with a K.
What dark ritual?
Exactly. Just adding magical elements into the game in general would be kind of interesting, because it's all basically mechanical and refined, and I don't know if refined is the right word, but anyway, it's all kind of like streamlined, set up in this particular fashion. I think adding in magic would actually make it a bit more open-minded, something a bit more unique.
It would be interesting, for sure.
Yes. And what would your game be?
Mine would be a little bit... 15 minutes in. Oh, well,
sorry.
We lose.
We lose. We don't get 50 ecto drops.
Well, I think mine would be a little bit more low-key, but
okay.
I'd still want either elite difficulty to change or to have a fourth difficulty, which is like extremely elite, or I don't know what's above elite, because elite tends to be...
Just make it a Vanguard difficulty. Like, only the best of the best can handle this difficulty. Bring friends!
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a bring friends kind of thing. It would be about elite difficulty, but I just want the monster composition to change. Super elite, monsoon, eternal, they're saying. But yeah, change up the monster composition. I've talked about this before, but for instance, in Firestorm Citadel, when you play on Advanced, there is a room that spawns some wolvers, and they are normal wolvers. When you go up to Elite, those wolvers turn into Ashtails. That is just a change. It makes them able to also deal fire damage, which is cool. Now make kind of the entire game like that. Start turning Devilites into Grievers and Gorgos. Put Trojans in random places that makes them hard to fight, like narrow hallways. I want that challenge. I want to die. I want this game to kill me. Swarm difficulty, they say. Yeah.
Swarm difficulty. Make it so in areas where you're supposed to fight, like those large waves of mobs, instead make it so you're fighting against swarm-infested mobs, and essentially you have to survive a particular amount of time, and in doing so it makes it exceptionally difficult because you have to be able to live long enough to leave the room.
That would be interesting. Though even viably, you don't have to swarm the entire Clockworks. Just make healers appear in more number and in more places. Things like that. Yeah.
Wolvers are strong. Make it so there are more alpha wolvers and in turn more wolvers. Just having the grievers in general would make it more difficult, because I will admit grievers are more difficult to deal with than the Devilites. I'm not saying the Devilites aren't hard. The fact that they can basically glitch the game on their own because they feel like it is a pain in the ass. Third Ring, we get it. Third Ring says it's 18 minutes. We know. We suck with time. But yeah, just there are things that we'd like to add and things that we'd like to change. But yeah.
Yeah, I just want the game to kill me a little bit more swiftly and with a little bit more of a challenge. I want some craziness in my Spiral Knight's life. It's still like,
at most I see tropes. You want Dark Souls? Yeah.
I want
If
more
Spiral
than
Knights
2
was-
Trojans in one place at a time. I want more than 3 Grievers. Well, I mean, okay, you got arenas.
A
third
dozen
room,
Grievers.
third room of an arena, last
Dozen.
wave. Think of that craziness all the time. That's what I want. Maybe not by populating it with 500 gremlins or constructs, but make them the higher level, the higher tier mobs. Healers, Trojans, Grievers, that kind of thing.
Yeah. As you go down lower, make it so the higher tier mobs appear more frequently than the lower tier mobs. It would make it a lot more difficult and a lot more enjoyable to be able to play with friends. Because honestly, I don't have a lot of my friends online, so I have to go through places like Firestorm Citadel and more difficult missions on my own, and that sucks.
Yeah,
I want a reason to be able to play with people.
there you go. So, there you go. There are some game mechanics. Maybe something that might happen. That's what I was hoping. When Elite first came out, I'm like, oh boy, they're going to make this kind of Dark Souls-y. It's going to be like really hard, and you're going to have to want to revive all the time.
It
really wasn't. It's give them more health and just make them more tanky, so you have to spend more time in the level.
It was quite literally fake difficulty. That was all it was.
Kind of is. But there you go. There's your transmutations. At a little over 10 minutes, it seems, but that's okay.
Spiral Order Recon.
I got it. Yikes.
Spiral Order Recon is our Spiral Knights related media. We've got a few things here. The first one is actually kind of interesting. This was featured on Fan Art Friday, and we tend to not feature those, but this is interesting enough that it warrants it for me. And this is Clears' The Wild Chase, and this is a comic series. It has, let's see, as I understand, it has a cover and one page at this point, but it's still kind of neat. I personally like Clears' art style. And it's just kind of neat to have like this little comic thing going. I think she's doing the panels as time goes on, so it's not like they're on a set schedule and you'll have 10 pages in 10 days or 10 pages in 10 weeks or something like that. But you can definitely go check that out. It's also on the Spiral Knights' everywhere, so you can go to twitter.com/Spiral Knights and check that out for yourself too. It's nice stuff. It's a comic on Spiral Knights. What more do you want? We also have HRPB's Who Said Knights Can't Wield Lightsabers music video. And this, I think, is in response to what we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago when we featured his art for Who Said Knights Can't Wield Lightsabers. And so he made a video for it. We said, hey, that would be cool. It looks neat. It's big grand foss of multicolors swinging at each other with knights in cool action poses. Someone animate it and... Exactly. So he put it to Epic Music and animated it as best as one can in Spiral Spy, and, it's neat. I likes. You should likes too. HRB's got some neat stuff on his YouTube channel, so that is that. We have Neon Fox's Tumblr, because it's not on a DeviantArt page, but this is the Plasticine Gremlin. This is also featured on Fan Art Friday, but it's a gremlin plastic thing, and it's the coolest thing ever, and I'm kind of sad Lord Hood isn't here. He is hiking, by the way. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that, but he's out on a hiking trip in the North Georgia mountains, freezing his butt off, so...
The higher-ups decided it was necessary for him to go on a solo mission alone.
Higher up the mountain. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
anyways.
God.
It's so bad I want to die. Sorry, I shouldn't have made that joke. But yeah, it's a gremlin model. It's probably the best thing.
Yes.
I'd put one on my desk.
It would be cool.
Alright. So, shout out to Neon Fox for that. Sweet stuff. It's so bad I want to die. Oh, goodness. Yeah, DreamThiefC in the chat, he's saying, neoncat.com. That's such a bad idea. Oh, man.
It is.
It's like esper.net. Oh my goodness. Anyways, and lastly,
Cyborg Rocks just said what the Fox says.
Oh, okay. The derailing, it hurts.
It hurts. Quickly.
And lastly, we've got the shopping list. We want to talk about this a little bit.
We need to talk about the shopping list.
We do need to talk about the shopping list, because it's out. It's starting to happen. You have 3 episodes under your belt already, as of the recording of this episode. It is a YouTube series among the Spiral Knights Network, which includes Serjinxable, Maroka of Button Mash Empire, of Button Mash, and myself as a collective with the Arsenal podcast. And it's this series of competition where we all run at the same time, and the episodes are coming out. So if you want, you can go to youtube.com/Squarelite/Button Mash Empire or /Serjinxable and watch those. There will be more episodes. They will be continuing starting tomorrow. So fun stuff there. You guys can look forward to that. It's interesting to see. I'm really enjoying it, even though I participated in it, just seeing the other perspectives and stuff like that. There will be more shopping lists, by the way. Also, This is season... You notice we called it Season 1 in anticipation of Season 2 and Season 3 and following. And we want Zhang in on it. For sure.
Zhang,
you gonna get in? You gonna get in on this action?
Well, I'll have to watch it to know what the heck I'm getting in on, so
It's true. Alright. Well, now, here, do your little segment 2. Let's go talk about Bazaar Banter.
Yeah, let's go into the Bazaar Banter then. Yeah.
Bazaar. Banter.
HRPB asks, what kind of money do we use for our shopping? And my response is, what money? Who says we're using money? Shifty eyes. Shifty eyes.
Greater than, period, greater than, less than, period, less than.
Yes. Ellipses.
Exactly.
Cyborg Rock says, what dark money?
There you go. Alright, speaking of dark,
it's
not really dark, but it's Surge gear. This is Bazaar Banter. We talk about a line of gear each episode. We're in costumes and we're talking about Surge. It's cool, it's expensive. Oh my gosh.
This was
Do you own any Surge gear? Alright, go ahead.
I don't have any, but this was the one set of gear that I feel like if I had gotten a flak jacket for, if I had gotten a wolver coat for, it would have become the main stay piece of costume armor that I was using instead of the magic cloak. I'm always having trouble finding something to match my cloak. The Warden mail doesn't even do it. So I'm still on that search, but I'm going to stick with what I got. The Surge gear is really cool, honestly. They didn't do some kind of blatantly... I'm not going to say that word. Stupid gimmick where... it's like, oh, let's throw lime green on everything. No, this is actually a color. This is legitimately a color set and palette that works. This dark red and navy blue color combined over placement of other colors is gorgeous. And yes, HRPB, he asks if I've tried Iron Wolf armor. I tried it as a preview. I didn't really like it. I might consider it if I see it again. Oh, sorry.
Dreethuxi is saying, I like hunter stuffs. Thank you very much for that, Zhang. It wasn't an insult on other gear. It was just Surge gear is probably, in both of our opinions, one of the better ones.
Yes. The Surge gear just... I don't know why they call it Surge gear, honestly. It kind of seems odd. I would assume it's due to like the color palette itself and what it associates with, but I just find the Surge gear to be simple. It doesn't do any funny gimmicks or anything. It is just a change in the color.
Yeah, and it's a calmer color, I think. I mean,
yes.
Like you're saying, the dark red and dark blue, as opposed to the neon green hunter and the orange traffic light hunter, harvest.
And the pale
like
whites of the Frosties.
Exactly. So yeah. It's a great addition. It's one of the better ones. It sounds like coming from you and from myself also. I believe it was called Surge because of the promotion it came with.
Oh, that's true, I guess.
But it is just a color palette along with Cool and Frosty and all the other ones. There's Surge, and it covers all of the normal reskins, so all the proto gears and some of the extra armors, flak jackets, plate.
I did like that they made a Surge flak jacket, because that was one of the one items I would have purchased. Unfortunately, I was stupid and I bought a Frosty flak jacket, and it does not look good. Because Frosty stuff doesn't... What?
That's my costume. My official quote-unquote costume is the Frosty flag.
No, the Frosty flag, I wasn't saying it didn't look bad in general. It looks good with your costume because you got the hood and that works. With my...
Oh, you were just talking about yours.
I was saying with the cat claw hood, it doesn't look that great because the Frosty flak jacket... Well, flak jackets in general, I can't get anything that doesn't clip through the hood. That's the problem.
That's a real... thing, isn't it? People said that when the cat update came out. It's like, man, they just can't. That was some of the fuel for the fire for the haters for the cat event.
Yeah.
Check out that prepositional phrase: fuel for the fire for the haters for the cat event. But they made a costume that doesn't work with anything, and man.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's unfortunate.
See if I can find an Iron Wolf armor set so I can see if that works. If it does work, perhaps I will try to acquire one. But I'm assuming they're too expensive to be able to even buy.
They're okay. They're not too bad. Well, we are going to be hitting some, Ew, I closed my tab before I could look at it. Next week, our conversation, we always invite that you guys join in these discussions with us, because we like finding out what you think about this costume.
Give us ideas and things to talk about, because we like that. And because sometimes we can't come up with ideas on our own.
Right. So, next week we are on the Total War helmets. So, the Imperial Tricorn, Medieval War Helmet, and Shogun Helmet. So, those were actually obtainable rather recently through the fire.
Purchase of other games. By possessing Spiral Knights, you could purchase other games to acquire them.
Yep, and they had them in some boxes as of recently.
Connect.
So sorry. So, if you want to give us some feedback on those, we encourage that. We invite that. We'll let you know how to contact us in just a minute as we wrap up the show.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, your unique variants.
And lastly, this is where we got some listener contributions, questions.
We got a question.
We do have a question. It's a rather simple question to answer. This is from Magenta, and he, and made it very clear to me that it is a he, asks, does waiting to level up your gear, like does waiting to forge your gear, does that increase the chance that you get extra forge rewards?
No.
If I wait to forge my gear for a while, is that going to mean that I have a better chance of getting a forged prize box or a double level up or anything like that? And the answer is no. Straight up no. Time does not affect your forging that we are aware of. There is nothing that would ever indicate that that would be the case. If you've noticed that in your gameplay, that is probably by tendency and coincidence. I'm sure there is someone else who could probably say that they think they get better forge prizes when they forge as soon as their gear is leveled up. I think it's just a coincidence thing if that's the case, but I'm not aware that time affects forge bonus chances at all.
It does not. If it did, then I would have already probably had a 10. I would have my Mighty Battle Cleaver. I wouldn't have needed help to make my Mighty Battle Cleaver stronger, because that was the thing. I needed someone's help to actually get it to work, and I get it to get enough fire crystals to be able to craft it properly. If that bonus thing had worked, I would not have needed the help that I had acquired.
Well, yeah, so probably not, no. We can say with 99% of surety, and thanks to HRBB for saying this, I will correct this from now on. It's not Agenta, it's Agent A. We've never actually talked to in-game, it's just
that sounds more masculine. Agenta kind of sounds like a feminine name.
Yeah. Anyways.
Agenta.
That is that. As always, if you have a question for us, we'd love to answer that for you too, so be sure to send us that if you have something. We have a music video contest running right now. This is going to go till the end of the month. It's the 2nd of February. It will end on the 28th of February, or somewhere around there, last week of February. And there's up to 3,000 energy and prizes. We already have an entry for the contest now from HRPB. It is take one of the Christmas carols that Zhang and Lord Hood and I wrote and Lord Hood and I performed, and you can download them, and you're going to make a music video for it and post it on YouTube and send us the link, and you're entered in to the contest for any given song. And up to 3,000 energy is in prizes. It's not NJ Thug level, but, you know, and so we'll be handing that out to people. Thanks to Peronius of the Night's Watch for sponsoring this contest with us. Yes. That would be that. That's the end of one of the more interesting shows. Apologies again for if you've made it this far through some of the craziness. It was saying, I'm not saying this is your fault at all, but this was a lag-generated thing. Why we kept talking over each other is because he was hearing me about a full second after I finished speaking and all that fun stuff, because Skype is our friend. Sarcasm.
I blame it on the fact that I was trying to download a game. Probably doesn't help that.
That's alright. So we shouting out to peoples, and I'm going to say probably their Illusion and Greenlink for hanging out for the whole time that the stream was running. Well, till the end of the 3-hour Twitch stream that we had on Friday.
Oh, I was just looking back. I heard people talking about apparently there was a way of getting a Iron Wolf armor off the Steam market, which would be easier than probably trying to get it from the game.
It is, and it's cheap.
I saw it. What did you say? 15 cents? Jesus.
Something like that.
I want to know where I can find that, because I can just buy that blatantly. And I have no idea how to navigate Steam.
Well, here. Iron Wool Spiral Knights is a better search term.
I'm just going to pull it up. I'm just making
Iron
sure
Wolf
that...
Armor?
Iron Wolf Armor. I'm pulling it up just to make sure that it works with my costume. Because I don't want to buy it like I did with the Frosty Flak jacket and just assume.
Alright, well I Skyped you a link.
Okay, I'm going to check to see what the cheapest buy price is. It's $99,699. Previewing it, making sure. Also, I'm distracting from the fact that we're supposed to be ending the show. I apologize.
It's fine. To the listeners who may be newer, this is not a normal show. This is a lack of content show, so we're going to take every tangent we can. As long as it's still about Spiral Knights, because, fortunately, there's just not much going on right now. And that's how it is sometimes.
Just wait until... Oh my gosh, wait until the Gunner update. We're going to be powering through that.
That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that one a bunch.
Fun. Do I have to bet on these? I don't want to bet on these. I don't have to bet on these, right?
Just grab it from... No, it's a buy now.
This is a restricted gift which cannot be redeemed in these countries. Poor Japan, Korea, Republic of, Taiwan, China, and Hong Kong. Poor those guys.
It's kind of
sad. My gosh, I can buy it for 12 cents.
Yeah!
Yeah!
And on that happy note, it's the end of episode 65. So thanks to everyone who stuck with us through this episode. It's quite the episode. Again, one more time. It's not normal. You could tell a friend about us. Not this episode, maybe. Lol. But don't say lol instead of laughing. Please, it's annoying.
If you say lol, I will hunt you, and I will let Betty have her way with you.
Exactly. Just laugh out loud. But for reals. But you could tell a friend about us, because that is the big way that we get the show out. Say, hey, I listen to this podcast. It's cool. It's interesting. They ramble a bunch. It is, and it helps us grow our influence. So thanks for that. You can contact us. You can call us at 1-678-322-7765. You can email us at arsenal@sklayelite.com. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/sklayelite. And lastly, our website is sklayelite.com/arsenal. You can check out all the links in this episode. You can tell us and let us know how much of a rambly, low-quality show this was, because that's what it is, and that's a good thing, because that's our trademark, or something. The Arsenal Podcast, rambling since 2012. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I guess we'll see you next week. Maybe something will happen between now and then that we can talk to. Otherwise, we need a discussion topic.
If we don't see you next week, we apologize.
Yeah, because you'll be missing out on some cool stuff. Possibly.
Excessively cool stuff. Because hopefully next... They didn't give a predetermined date, but I'm holding out for that Gunner update coming soon. Because then it's going to have a lot of content for us to talk about.
Would be fun. Or Tortodrone. Or anything.
Anything. If the Tortodrone were to come out, we could take the entire show to do that. And I would be pleased.
Even the cat update again.
That would be cool.
Alright.
Yes.
But excessively cool, in any case. Otherwise, we are listening, so even if you are listening to this show in your car on your iPod and you never attend the live streams or anything like that, oh, by the way, we actually record the show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And you can go to livestream.com/thearsenalpodcast if you want to tune in. You can interact with us through the chat, and we see what you're saying, all that kind of fun stuff. But even if you're not one of those people and we don't know your name and we've never said it before, this could be the first time. Discussion topics. Let's go. Excessively cool. Thank you for listening to the Arsenal Podcast. We will see you next time.
Geared up and ready to go? Thanks for listening to the Arsenal, a Spiral Knights podcast. See links and listen to previous episodes on our website, skaleli.com/arsenal. Send comments, questions, and audio to arsenal@skaleli.com, or give us a call at 1-678-322-7765.